Hey everyone, today I'd like to speak about feeling like an alien. I'm not so much meaning in a literal sense, rather a metaphorical sense, although I am sure there are some people that actually do feel like they're an alien. But anyway, this feeling of being an alien, I am sure a lot of INFPs can relate to. It feels like we come from a whole other dimension and world, and this world we come from is so colorful and vibrant, and it's kind of like in a fantasy setting, and there's world peace and small communities, and it's everything. It's like the world being perfect in a sense. You know, a utopia. Like something that we create, and that has our complete values in with it. And it's like, the leaders of this world have sent, a select few of us to Earth, to fulfill some kind of quest. And this quest is to, I guess, break down what it means to be human and to find the purpose of being human. And then at the same time, we just want to go home. So it's like we're kind of on this quest that we don't really want to be on, but we are. And we just want to go back to this serene refuge. Yeah, that's the easiest way I can describe it. Yeah, so being an alien, I guess it comes from feeling like an outcast, feeling different, feeling misunderstood, feeling unaccepted. Back at high school, I had a couple of girl groups when I was about 13, 14. And, I enjoyed having these girl groups because, I just, as a teenager, I just wanted to fit in. But it didn't feel right. I couldn't really talk to them because, well, I mean, I could, but I couldn't have the in-depth conversation that my soul really wanted to have. And I would just talk about boys and clothes and what we're going to do on the weekend. And that was it. And what I wanted to talk about, I wanted to talk about the universe. I wanted to talk about dimensions and other worlds and fantasy stuff, just, you know, very complex and dynamic topics. Um, and so, I ended up trusting my intuition, and I ended up being alone. But I had, come senior years, I had this one friend. She was an international student. She didn't really know much English, but I could have those rich and in-depth conversations with her, even though out of most people around the school, she was probably one of the only people that didn't really know much English as everybody else. But yet here I was having these deep and meaningful conversations with her. And yeah, so it felt good to be able to trust myself and to do that. And I mean, these girl groups, I still keep in contact with the people from these groups. And I loved everyone at school. I mean, it wasn't that I was a snob or anything. I loved everyone, and I'd go into class and with an open mind, and look at everyone through loving eyes. And but I just knew that I couldn't have those in-depth conversations with most people. Yeah, so it was really good to be able to find someone I could have those with. Find a situation where I was comfortable and felt more myself, because I think at school I felt very outcast and very different, and like I didn't belong there. And yeah, so that's just an interesting thing. But yeah, no, it's interesting, this feeling of not belonging to the world, or not belonging to a home country, or however it feels to the individual. I was 18, I think. I was living in a town in South Australia, living on a dairy farm, and I was very isolated there. And it's strange because every time I'm in isolation, I always tend to have these weird epiphanies that make sense in my life. And yeah, I go off in these weird tangents. And anyway, so I was in isolation, so I decided to take up meditation. And during this time, I had written a poem, and it was a poem about, it was called I Don't Belong. It was a poem about the turmoil in the world, and in fact it seemed muddy and grey, and there was conflict and wars and everything wrong with it. And I would say how my soul and my heart feels called to this other place, and it's such a distant place. My mind and my body haven't caught up to it, but my soul and my heart want to go there, and there's a place full of peace and serenity, and it's just colourful and vibrant, and yeah, world peace, small communities, this place that I do belong, and that is where I want to go. That's that utopia. That's the place my soul belongs to. And here I am on earth for some kind of weird reason, to be on a mission, to be on a quest, I don't know. Again, metaphorically speaking. Yeah, so it's interesting that I had written this poem, and at the time I didn't know about myself so much. I mean, I've only just really, the past 6 months, been figuring out what I'm all about, and figuring out what I'm supposed to be doing next, and it's all a big mess. But yeah, so yeah, it's just something else that I wanted to mention. Another thing is, I've searched up like celebrities, like INFP celebrities, and come up with some quotes from various celebrities, and a lot of them have mentioned how they don't feel a connection to their home country, or they don't feel a connection to the world, and they're searching for somewhere better, but it's not here. Like, it's not present. There's no the utopia that these INFPs have wanted to find does not exist in the real world. And it wasn't until they were able to write it down in, let's just say, a novel, that is where they became grounded and found peace within themselves. And it is interesting and relieving that I can relate to that, and because I'm from New Zealand, I'm a Kiwi, and my country is a very beautiful place. It's gorgeous, but what's disappointing to me is that I feel that I can't relate to our culture, our society. I don't feel like I fit in here, and I just feel everywhere I go it's like grey and muddy. And I've lived in a few towns here, and I'd move to this town and be okay for a while, and then a few months on the track, it's like, I feel like I need something more vibrant and more rich and serene. And here I am referring to this utopia that I've created, and I've been actively searching for, just like these other INFP celebrities. And I mean, I have mentioned I was writing a novel, and in this novel, it's a fantasy sci-fi, and so of course I have these planets and these species, and that I get really in depth with it, and describe the way these planets look, and describe what these beings are like, you know, what their society's like, etc., etc. And basically, I mean, I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's dynamic, and that is ultimately what I'm searching for. Something exciting and fresh, and I mean, I do want peace, of course, but I mean, these things that are so different to Earth that I'm actively trying to search for, that is not in my home country, and I'm, you know, somewhere that I can feel like I'm at home. So yeah, I do believe if I keep working on this novel of mine, I will begin to ground myself again, and yeah, feel more at peace with my reality. You know, I think it's finding that balance, and for all types, you know, to find that balance. And for me as an INFP, that balance is to pull myself back down to earth every now and again, and don't let myself get carried away so much. Yeah, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you can identify yourself with a lot of what I have mentioned, and to know that you are understood and you're not alone. I understand you. Yeah, and yeah, try and get that creative output going, and you'll you'll figure that you'll feel better, and you'll feel more grounded and more at home. Yeah. So, I hope you enjoy your day, night, morning, wherever you are in the world. Bye.